Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and that is Connor.
Yeah, okay, you throw me off again. You do this on purpose
Don't
sometimes.
flub the intro on me, Connor. Jeez. So, what do we do every week? We work our way through all the DC TV shows that aired. Well, I say all. We don't do Gotham. I don't know if that aired this week, but we don't, and just for the record. But this week, that did air, we are working our way through Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, Black Lightning, Arrow, of course, and we're also working our way through the first season of Young Justice. We're catching up in that, so that by the time the third season starts, we'll all be caught up and we'll have reviewed the whole thing. And more importantly for me, I'll have seen it because I haven't seen it before. This is the first time viewing for me, so we've got an episode of that as well on top of the new shows. So that is what's coming up on this week's show. See, why can't you just nail the intro like I do, Connor?
Yeah. Shall I tell them or show you?
Come on, you've got that look in your eye. You can tell them if you want.
Yeah. No, this is why I messed that up, because we just did this 2 minutes ago, and he messed up the intro. And then some technical issues came up, so we had to restart. We were going to power through it.
Yeah, to be fair, I was happy to keep just the flubbing. Like I'm happy to have a little bit of embarrassment now and again.
No, that was fine. We carried on, and there was some technical issues, which is why we stopped. And we were like, we're only a minute in, might as well do it again. However, last time he didn't leave a pause for me to say anything after my name, so I assumed he was going to do the same thing again, which is why I know he did that on purpose, just to be a dick.
Well, don't assume then.
Just don't be a dick.
Keeping you on your toes, which you clearly were not. So, so we're going to work our way through the shows. No real news this week, so we can fire right into the shows, and we got some pretty meaty episodes to talk about. So, first up, Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3, Episode 13. It's called No Country for Old Dads, and this was an episode where we kind of split into like two sort of things mainly. There was a main plot, which was pretty much Ray with Damien Dark and Nora Dark, and that was the main plot. And then we had the rest of the crew sort of try to figure out where Ray was, and obviously there's some fun jokes about how they don't even notice he's gone. The thing they notice is that, why aren't the dishes done? Ray loves doing dishes.
Yeah. Where is he?
Honestly, one of my biggest laughs was when he came back at the end. Like everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're back, Ray," and Mick's just like, "There's dishes to be done." And he's like, "Oh, and I can't wait to get to them." But just
hold fire
there. Yeah, that's such a weird. Like I can relate. I can relate to so many characters for so many reasons, but I will never relate to wanting to do the dishes.
No, they're the thing you have to do because otherwise you have nothing to eat from.
Yes, and that's usually what makes me do the dishes, is that I've run out of things to eat with. Oh, it's time to do the dishes.
Yeah, we're grown adults.
Which is why it's such a painful experience, because there's always a lot. There's never just a little amount, because I always leave it until there's all of them.
That's the thing. The girlfriend always goes, "Well, you just do it after you finish eating, and then there's not loads to do." And I'm like, "Yeah, but no." It always piles up.
Yep, no, I know that pain. So Ray's off with them, and they have to fix the totem of the fire totem that Darkstone Detroit is broken. It's not functioning, and Ray's like, okay, to fix that we need X amount of energy, and the only way we could do that feasibly is either, I think one was like going to the Big Bang or something like that, and then the other option was cold fusion or cold fission. Maybe was it fission or fusion? I can't remember. I think it was fusion.
Fusion.
It's because Flash had fission, so Flash had fission and fusion. Yeah, right. There's too many fusions this week between the shows, alright? There is. So, which is a nice reference, because Supergirl actually referenced this. The idea of cold fusion was brought up by Brainiac 5.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago on Supergirl.
I mean, it's not exclusive to this, is it?
No, it's not. I'm not saying it is exclusive to this. I'm just saying that it was mentioned that we have it in the future by Brainiac 5, so it was a nice little, just thing.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so that, and it's like, but unfortunately that doesn't exist, and I'm like, well, Brainy feels your pain there, Ray, because Brainy was also miffed that it did not exist. And then David Dark's like, no, that's not entirely true. Someone did invent it in the 60s, but I murdered them, so we're going to have to go back in time and get this scientist.
Stop me in a wig killing a dude.
Yeah, he's got that glorious 60s wig on in the 60s timeline.
This is the most fun Damien Dark has ever been. I love it.
Absolutely. And basically, Nora's like, well, you can't go. There's like big ramifications, so Nora's going to go. And she's like, oh, I need to take Ray because he's the nerd. He can speak nerd to the scientist. So it's like, okay. He's like, all right, you better bring her back safe and use protection. It's like, like, nah, here. So the whole episode, their plot ended up being like a weird inverted first date.
Yeah.
And I say inverted because Damien was disappointed later on that he was a bad influence because he was teaching her morality.
To be good, yeah.
Yes, and things like that. So all that stuff was very amusing, and it's funny because I actually thought they kind of have chemistry, and
I know where you go with this.
And this is easily the best, the best, romance potential that Ray's ever had, easily. Yeah. Right, and I'll be honest, like because we actually got time to spend with Nora Dark here, I was like, I actually kind of like her. There's a couple of scenes with her in this episode that I thought that was pretty funny. Like I like this. Yeah. When she's like torturing the guy, and she's like, oh, but it's so much fun, and she's ready to go do it, and all the other various moments where she's like snapping and whatnot.
And you know the reason why they have chemistry?
Oh, are they married in real life?
They are, yeah.
Okay, very good. I did
Which
not know
is,
that.
unlike some of the other relationship couples we've had appear on screen in this universe without enough chemistry, this one works.
I mean, both Supergirl romances where it was someone she had no chemistry with and turned out she was dating in real life.
Yep, exactly.
First guy she was married to, and now she's actually dating Mon-El in real life, and they have no chemistry. I know it's weird. But no, that's a fair point. They have chemistry. And so that was good fun. I bet they had fun with that being paired up then, especially since at the end of the episode when Ray's like, and obviously it still tracks with Ray anyway because he saw her as a kid, which makes the whole romance bit a little bit weird that he met her first as a kid. But whatever, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. If you were also a kid at the time, perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, he met her first as an adult, right? And then they went back, and she was a kid. She tried to kill them.
Okay, sure. Well, it depends. Did they ever run into it? Because was he in Arrow season 4 at any point? Maybe it wasn't. I think Legends already started then.
I don't think he was in Arrow.
Yeah.
But she appeared in this season, right? Before she was a kid.
Oh, yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. It was a twist. There was a twist. This person's his daughter. That was a twist.
Yeah. So, okay, he met her as an adult first.
All right, fair. Which reminds me, actually, they had a little... Because Damien Dark ends up killing... Because they need a lab, so they go to the upswipe guy from the start of the season. And they end up killing him, but before he kills him, his one match on the dating app is Cupid from Arrow. That was a nice little Easter egg.
That was fun.
So it was the only supervillain on here that is compatible with him.
Yeah. They need to up that age restriction counter.
Yeah, and then he brutally snaps the guy's neck, and that was kind of dark. I did enjoy him like talking to him though when he was like dead,
lying on the floor, like head face to face.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, so Dark's proper evil. That's good. But yeah, so at the end when like Nate's like, wait, do you get the hots for Nora Dark? It's like, no, of course I don't. Yeah, it's okay.
He can't help himself, can he?
I was like, oh, I get it. But actually, I'm kind of hoping that they're maybe seeing that by the end of the season, she'll kind of come to the good side reluctantly, and then maybe next season she's actually on the team, kind of redeeming herself throughout the season.
She's going out as a sacrifice.
Oh, I really hope not.
I can see it. I can see it take. She'll take Mollis into herself entirely, and then kill the body and kill Mollis.
But heroically, she'll go out a hero.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, I can see that. Mainly just because I kind of want the comedy of like Ray trying to have a relationship with her and try to like romance her, and her being like kind of still half evil, which would be weird. She'd kind of be like a sexy version of Mick running around the ship.
Yeah, that's what you said.
It makes me wonder though, if Mick's writing a romance novel secretly in his spare time, what's Nora Dark doing in her spare time? She's probably a big I don't know, Smash Bros player or something. I don't know. Secretly.
No, because Zara's already got that covered.
Oh yeah, she's playing the Mortal Kombat. Okay, it can't be video games. It has to be something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else is cheesy? What else is a cheesy, nerdy thing she's been doing in secret that she didn't want anyone to know about?
I don't know.
I know, but something. She'll be doing something. But anyway, so no, I see potential there because I think her actually having time in this episode made me actually, because I didn't dislike her before. She was just kind of around. She was there for her plot reasons to be there.
She's never really had. She's had a couple of moments here or there, but she's not really had a lot to do.
Whereas here, the actual chemistry of her like bossing Ray around and Ray trying to be a good guy and her kind of like fighting him and they're trying to protect the scientist, but she's also threatening to hurt him at the same time, and or even when they're lying at the they try to go through the wall, the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
And, like in Ray's like horror, it was like, yeah, we're at an opera all night. It was a long opera, very good
Best
opera,
yeah.
but very long, but good. And it just keeps going, and then eventually she comes in with like a perfect German accent and like insinuates that she'll have him like, I speak to your superior. You don't even know who we are. You're going to have your balls for this. And it's like, that's very convincing.
He goes, do you know who my husband is?
And Ray's just like, who? Where are we going with this? So, no, all that was fun. Like, I think typically if you told me before this episode it was going to be all Ray and Nora, I'd be like, okay, what's that going to be like?
No, I agree. But
luckily,
even her stuff with Dark was really fun.
Yeah, it was. And even like Ray kind of giving him therapy at one point. And just that kind of stuff. I actually really thought it was going to swoop in and save her. The bit at the end where like if Dark was fighting young Dark, and he kept she was off over the ledge, but he kept like grabbing her with the powers and holding her up, and then he kept dropping her and bringing her back up again because he was mid fight. I thought Ray was going to get out in time to come and save her, and it maybe make her be a bit more like, oh, maybe I should be like the good guys a bit more.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting as well.
Instead, she kind of gets control of Amaya's totem, and she uses that, which is the whole thing. But but no, they've still clearly planted the seeds of she can maybe be turned.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That's definitely where we're going with this, and I think that's cool. But like I say, I think she's actually a very good actress, which we haven't really had a chance to see before, and she has chemistry or charisma, even on her own, regardless of just being with Ray. So I think we got to see that this episode, and it was like, okay, this wasn't a dull plot to go through because it was made fun by the actors involved. Everything was kind of
they were likable and fun.
Yeah, and she was being like evil and fun, which was kind of cool, and he was like being the goody two shoes and fun. So they were kind of clashing on that, and then of course Damien's just going around murdering people left and right and doing his Damien thing.
It's the most fun I've had with him in a while, and the fight at the end where he's using his powers and trying to fight off the other version of him and save. I mean,
my only critique, and I think this is a really obvious critique to make, but I just want to point out before, just so the comments don't say we didn't bring it up. But why at no point when he was having her hover up top, just pull her in, like just.
Oh, I know.
Like just pull her in then over the ledge, so she's on the ledge now again. Yeah. But
no, I agree. It's stupid, and you could say maybe it goes on too long because of that. But
yeah. It was funny.
I thought it was really fun as a scene, and it's like the most fun his powers have been.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely used them more in this episode than he has really
recently. I mean, he's used them reasonably on Legends.
Over time, sure, but there's never been an episode with this much of them in one episode. This is definitely
we had him force choking Ray a few times.
We had that one scene when he first came back in the Dracula episode where he was, just offing people left and right. The reason why everyone thinks Rip's a war criminal.
Yeah.
Because he killed all those agents. Or he got them all killed because he brought them all to that whole shindig. But so, no, I had fun with all that. I really did. So elsewhere, Wally is in the ship because Rip shows up and everyone's being kind of awkward around Dave and Sarah because they're clearly into each other, clearly having a relationship, and everyone's just kind of awkwardly tiptoeing around it. But Rip does have that one line at the end where he tells Gideon to erase a file because Sarah must never know the truth about Ava.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this.
It depends what it is. Like,
I kind of hope it's something stupid.
Yeah, I hope it's something stupid. I hope it's something we can have a joke about once we find out what it is.
I don't really want some big thing splitting them apart. I'm like, no, just have the fun.
Yeah, I hope it's something where Ava will think it'll split them apart. And I wonder if it's something that Ava even knows herself. I wonder, like, is it something to do with her origin that she doesn't know about? Like,
yeah.
Is Ava like a real person? Is she an AI? Was she created? Is she a robot?
I think as long as it has nothing to do with malice.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
That I would hate with a passion.
Biggest laugh of this episode, though, by far, that had me splitting my sides, was when Wally was talking about his best buddy Nate. He's helping because he's been meditating recently, so he knows how to meditate. So he's helping Zari and Amaya because they're going to use her totem to try and locate her totem in the world between worlds, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. So your buddy,
How do you know Nate?
Yeah, our buddy's with Nate. Yeah, I was his wingman, but Central City, last year. I was helping. He was mending a broken heart. Some basic bitch split up with him on his birthday. Can you believe it? As soon as he said that, I started laughing so much.
Yeah.
And then Amaya just looking at him was like, Yeah, because I am that basic bitch. And he's like, zoom, and he just he just super speeds out the room. Oh my god, I that was so funny.
Yep, no, that killed
And
me.
I think it was funny because basic bitch did sound really harsh, like really harsh.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
so dismissive. Ah, whoever this basic bitch was, and then she's just like, I am that bitch. I'm like, oh dear.
yeah. No, that killed me.
Uh,
I also like, you know, when Wally first got on the ship and
oh wait, Mick, yeah.
yeah, with Mick, and he's stolen something or other. I can't remember what it was
Sunglasses, I
now.
think it was. It was sunglasses from the
Someone, yeah,
band, yeah.
yeah. I can't remember who now. And you know, so he's like, "Oh, once a thief, always a thief." And Nate's like, no. We encourage, you know, light thievery. It's fine. We call them souvenirs, which is obviously, you know, nice reference for Wally.
And to be fair, it pays off later on.
It does.
Because he steals the fire totem out of Damien Dark's pocket. Because when they do actually eventually fit, because Ray, when he gets his suit back, he blows a hole in the Berlin Wall, and like, oh, anachronism. So that was like, oh, the legend's like, oh, that must be Ray. It's a blast.
Yeah, Ray screwed up. Someone screwed up. Yeah, that'll be Ray.
Yeah. To be fair, I actually think once he gets his suit back, he doesn't screw up too much. I mean, Damien Dark is beating him, but he does have that one, blast that, that's enough to let the legends know where he is. Which is really cool. And I like that, okay, well, we could go out and try and save him as a team, but we've got a speedster, so Wally, do you want to just run and get him?
Yeah, yeah. I think they're gonna. It's gonna be interesting to see how they nerf Wally, because you know how all of them kind of have been nerfed over time. Like Firestorm suffered from it a lot, where they just never merged, just so that it's not too easy all the time.
Yeah, I think the more interesting thing would just be up the threat constantly, so that they need the speedsters to do a lot of the work, and whatever's left is what everyone else can do.
Yeah, no, I get that. I feel like if it's constantly like, oh, there's something going on, so Wally's distracted, it's just gonna.
Oh, that'll be annoying, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's busy dealing with this side of the threat every episode. I'm kind of gonna get bored of that.
I think a mix of that, or just a mix of things where speed just won't fix this problem. Like this problem just can't be fixed that way.
You gotta have some more inventive writing.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how they go with that. But I did like that, and obviously we like that he chose to stay because we do think he belongs in the team. And he's going to leave, and Sarah's like, "Yeah, we've all made bad first impressions. Doesn't matter that half the crew hate you already."
Go through the list. I was like, oh yeah, those did all happen.
Yeah, so you'll be fine. Just. I hope next episode just opens with him like buying Amaya a drink or something. Like, here, I got you coffee in the morning, Amaya. You okay? And she'll be like, oh, what type of coffee? Cappuccino, espresso? And she's like, oh no, it's basic. I mean, it's plain, just black. You'll have to avoid the word basic around her at all costs.
Yeah. I can see it.
Yeah. Also, just randomly, when we had the scene with Nate and Ray, with the whole, oh, you've got the hots for Damien's daughter. Which, by the way, I did like when Ray called him Damien. And he's like, oh, can I call you Damien? He's like, four stroke. But I was like, man, I didn't realise Nate was working out so much. He's in the...
Dude's ripped.
He's ripped as shit. I mean...
Yeah.
And he always kind of has been, but he had the tight top on. He was, doing the weights.
This is the precursor to an Arrow workout.
Yeah. This is a normal workout.
Next season, they're giving him an Arrow workout scene. Call it now.
He's almost in shape enough to compete. Wait till next year. Next year he'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, so glad to have Wally in the team. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. I did like just all the various little bits with Ava where she she's helping them when Gary's on the thing, or even when like Ava gives ripping Wally out of trouble. It's like you stole our technology and you humiliated poor Gary.
But it's only Gary.
Yeah. Then when when he calls later, Gary calls later on, she's like, oh, Agent Sharp, you're there already. Okay. Just those little awkward moments, and of course we can't forget that towards the end of the episode, the director gets killed by a gorilla, Grodd, obviously.
Yeah.
Although I said a gorilla, I knew what gorilla it was. But, gorilla Grodd, yes. Kills him. So obviously the big plans start to come into motion, and we're going to have to deal with that. But that does make Ava the director of the Time Bureau. So. Yeah.
I will say I did laugh at Rip's line. Where I think it was Ava that went, "Oh my god," when that happened, and Rip just went, "I'd say that's Grodd."
Oh yeah, that was pretty. He's cracking joke. Everyone else is in shock that, especially even Sarah's like, "Oh, he was a nice man." I think
probably.
Yeah, that really spoke to him. It's fine. It was just kind of there, like, oh, I'm beside myself. But yeah, so if we're not keeping Nora next season, then I definitely want Ava to stick around.
Oh, definitely. That's why I really hope whatever this thing that Rip's hiding at the end isn't
Yeah.
going to be a huge deal.
And if it is something like she's actually technically a fake person, I'm kind of okay with that, as long as like Sarah just is like, well, I'm okay with that, and then it can just be like, we can have a relationship with a robot. That can be like a thing we do next season.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd
As
be
long
fine
as it's
with
just something that's swept under the rug, I don't care.
Yeah, or something at least to some jokes. I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I'm fine with them bringing it up all the time if it is like a running gag or something like that. Or
But obviously she's the director now, so.
I don't want melodrama from it more than 1 or 2 episodes. I'll take 1 or 2 as they kind of get the shock of it out of the way. That's fine because they have to do that right now that I've set it
I'll
up.
take 1.
But after a couple,
Reveal it, and they're fine by the end.
But after a couple, well, that's the thing. They'll go reveal at the end of an episode, right? And then they'll deal with it the next
Alright,
episode.
fine. I'm not
so.
counting the end of the episode
okay.
reveal though. I'm like counting like 1 episode of actually dealing with it.
All right, okay. So there you go. And also, they also because obviously they didn't really mention it much because there wasn't really much to it. But Amaya and Zari went into the world between worlds and basically found out that all these anachronisms are going to eventually free Mollis.
Yeah. Do you know what I will say? Is I'm surprised you're not making the reference, but this actually felt very Buffy to me.
Oh really?
Where they were saying, all the first totem bearers imprisoned this thing.
Okay, yeah. And even
in
whole
the spirit world kind of thing. Like it kind of felt like that stuff in Buffy.
And arguably, it's a lot like the dream sequence where Buffy meets the first Slayer in Restless.
Exactly.
Season 4, episode 22.
All right, I didn't know the exact placement, but you knew what I was on about. It actually felt a lot like that to me.
No,
when
I can see it. I never thought of that, but now you're bringing it up. I can see it. Yeah. So yeah, let's move on then to Flash. But obviously, No Country for Old Dads was actually a really strong episode, I thought.
It was, yeah.
And again, I think it focusing on a couple of characters. One who's a main character, Ray, and one who isn't a main character, but is sort of been elevated now to where I'm like, okay, I actually kind of like her now, and I'm like that she's part of the cast.
Yeah.
So it did some good character work, and I feel like the last few have done that for at least either a couple of them. Or the time loop episode was Zari's episode.
Yep.
Mainly, but everyone got a little bit that advanced them. And then last episode, Amaya got some good time with the pirate stuff, and I feel like the last few they've all really had some character progression. So we've enjoyed this a lot since the start of season 2 because it's a live action cartoon, and it still is in a lot of ways with its rules about things. It doesn't take its rules too seriously, but I do actually genuinely think that the last few episodes have been a sign of improvement in terms of its character work.
I agree.
So that's good news.
This is some of the best the show's been.
So with that said, we will move on. We will move on to The Flash Season 4, Episode 15. It's called Enter Flashtime. So here's the thing. I want to say, yes, I think you can nitpick the rules here. This basically brings back that thing in the courtroom where Barry touched Iris and they were moving so fast they could have a conversation whilst everyone else was seemingly frozen. And that brings that back and calls it Flash Time, right? Mm. I think you can pick holes in this. You can say, scientifically speaking, this is absolute and utter bollocks, and not a lot of it really. Like, if they're actually moving this fast, especially in this episode, if they're moving this fast that everyone's still for this long, they are moving at absurd, even for the Flash's standard, they are moving at absurd speeds, right?
Yeah.
However, I love this episode.
Thank God. This, like I say, all that stuff is stupid.
Yes, the rules, the science is stupid as shit.
It is, Speed Force Bro and all that.
Yeah.
But if that's just going to be a thing now, I can accept that.
Yeah, I love how we've still not explained it, because at this point the only explanation we've had is in that courtroom when Barry said, "I don't know how this is happening, but it is."
Yeah, even in this, other people are like, "How are you doing this?" I don't know. Speed Force.
Which is a point. The other species can't do this. Only Barry can do this.
Yeah, but this is the best episode all season.
I agree.
Easily.
I agree. This was a focused idea, and and I knew it was going to be good. Because we got a scene at the start, right, where he comes in and he's sweating, and he does the whole flash time thing with Iris, and he's like, I can't save it. It's that thing where it's later on in the episode, but it's showing us how serious it is. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so it's doing the flash forward thing, it's going to flash back, and whatever. But I was expected to say 24, maybe 48 hours earlier, right? And it said 8 minutes, and I'm like, 8 minutes?
Oh, I know. I was like, oh, this is good.
Oh, what's happening in 8 minutes? Oh, this is interesting. What's happening in 8 minutes? There's some fun comedy stuff. You know, Barry's working Cisco too hard. I like that when Jessie shows up, there's that really funny moment where the group's all looking at her, and she's looking for her dad, but Barry just, like, he's behind, like, I think Iris and someone else, and he just kind of goes like this. I'll do it. So, audio people, I'm sorry, you're not going to see this, but Wally's not here.
Yeah, a glaring omission in this episode, because, you know, would have been a lot easier if he was.
It would have been easier. I don't know if it would have been. I mean, sure.
No.
To be fair though,
there's one specific point.
There is, but here's the thing though. If he was around, they'd have just changed the number 3 to 4.
They would have done, yeah.
So I mean, it would have easily been right. But at least in this case though, I know that he is in a different time period on the time ship. He's away.
He's not just in China meditating.
Yeah, they can't just like, they can put a call to the Wave Rider because they've done that before, but are they going to answer in 8 minutes or in the frozen time?
Yeah, exactly.
They can't. So, you know, we could argue that Barry could run to the past, but he knows not to do that. In fact, he argues very specifically with Jesse because he's like, let's just run back, you know, a few minutes and stop the bomb from going off. It's like, no, that'll change things. And although I have to question, how much is that going to change though? You're going back like a minute.
Well, I'm gonna go back to the first time he changed things, which was the big the wave, right?
Yeah.
And he only went back a couple of hours, right, to change the one event. And
it was more like a day. It was like a full day.
Was it a day? Okay.
Or day or close to a day.
But that was the only thing he changed, wasn't it?
No, because all his interactions with everyone else were different because he was acting differently.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas this one would be a minute and. Like,
yeah. But,
you know, so
I guess ultimately Barry learnt his bloody lesson.
He did. I would argue in this case a minute's okay to stop a nuclear bomb. It's fine. But at least, yes, his logic tracks with the fact that everyone keeps telling him not to do it. So
yeah,
I'll give him that. So yeah, the plot of this episode is that there's these criminals that they turn out to be some sort of extreme like environmental group who, what was it, Eden Blast or something like that?
Eden Corp.
Eden Corp. They want to blow us back to the Garden of Eden. They want to take everyone out. So at first it's just like a big firefight. Like Joe's there with the cops and they're all like shooting at the bad guys and stuff, and it's all going down. And then like, okay, Flash, everyone else get here quickly, come on. And you know, Jesse comes with, and then but the leader, you know, they open the truck, she sets off the nuke, and time freezes, and now we're moving in Flash time.
Yeah. Just a point on her motivation there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine, environmental terrorist. I get it. That's a solid enough, motivation for a TV show to go with. Why would they go to a nuclear bomb? Their whole thing is they want to save the planet and get rid of humans. But, nuke kind of decimates everything.
It does. I guess the argument would be that in a big urban city, they've already destroyed all the wildlife, so therefore it's not actually destroying anything that they want to protect.
I guess, but...
I don't know. What do you want from me?
Fine.
My bigger problem was that her name was Veronica Gale, because I was like... Because she said Veronica, and I'm like, is she going to say Kale? And she went Gale. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it really felt like, close enough.
Yeah, Veronica Kale's a Wonder Woman character, so she's a Wonder Woman villain. She's kind of like Wonder Woman's Lex Luthor in a lot of ways, but... So it's just kind of weird that her name's so close to Veronica Kale. I mean, maybe this is an obscure character from the comics that I don't know. It could be, but certainly no bells were ringing. But so the nuclear bomb's going off, and the thing then becomes we're moving in flash time. And I like that it's just Barry at first, and he's looking at the bomb, and he's realizing what it is, and he's like, shit. And then like Jessie like sort of sneaks up behind him because she can also move in flash time. He's like, okay, so we're moving in flash time. And then it's like, okay, don't know where Wally is. Get Jay. And Jay's theme plays as he enters it later on as well. And he's like, "How are you doing that?" Because at this point he's tried with Cisco. He's like, because he touches Cisco, so he's moving in flash time. He's like, right, try and open a breach and send it to a dead Earth. Let's do that. That's a smart plan. And I like that they brought up something they'd done in a previous episode, especially since it was also a nuclear solution. It was a nuclear threat the last time as well. But we're in flash time, so you can actually open the rift in time.
Yeah, I was so glad that ended up, because at first Cisco's like, I'm all breached out. It's not happening. I was like, what? What is this bollocks they're giving me? Yeah,
that was
a
lame excuse. This? Luckily, it was actually something that made more sense. It was like, okay, the rule is that he can't do this in flash time because
he's bending space time, and
I
was like, all right, fine, that's fine. But at first, I was like, okay, this is a cheap way out of this excuse.
And then when they try with Killer Frost later on with the cool it down method, again, they quickly established that non-speedsters can't really be in flash time for too long, or they start to get really sick. in week. So it's like, okay, you can freeze this, but it would take a lot of freezing, and she can only do it for like 30 seconds, and then she's starting to like collapse.
Yeah.
So again, okay, so it makes sense. I like that it went through lots of possibilities. And there's okay, so this thing and that thing, that thing. Do you know what I did laugh though? I mean, I like Iris a lot, so I'm actually okay with her having the idea that kind of sparks the okay, this is how you do it, right?
Sparks, really. Again with sparks.
Yeah, I'm going with sparks, right? Lightning rod, see, get it? Just the Flash in general, really, but lightning rod specifically in this sense. But I actually kind of laughed, like, if this was Arrow and Felicity was the one who finally came up with the solution, I'd be like so pissed off.
Well, I think even then I wouldn't mind, because she's not coming up with the solution. She's just saying something, and he's then going, "Oh shit, yeah."
Yeah. But then she's like, "Oh yeah, we sent that decoy thing into the Speed Force." That's how ultimately, of course, he fixes it. And honestly, I think the scene of him running into the Speed Force and being chased by all that lightning,
it's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's so beautiful. And a show where obviously sometimes the effects are, like, yeah, it's okay, so it's TV
sketchy.
CG.
Sketchy.
Yeah, it does what it can with what it has. This looked good, and I guess it looks good because it doesn't have to look real. Lightning's not necessarily a hard thing to pull off.
Yeah, lightning's one of the most basic effects anyway.
But it looked really
and it's
pretty.
all these colours, and it's, oh my god, it looks spectacular.
It was pretty is the point. Although my question now is that the decoy's not there anymore.
No, I queried that as well, but they kind of addressed it. They were like, yeah, I think the Speed Force is cool with me.
Oh, okay. All right.
He says at the end, it's like, we'll see. But
yeah, okay.
So I did question that as well.
But yeah, so that scene of him running away, he's in that big, almost dark tunnel, and then the lightning's all following him, and then he's coming out of the portal and into the van. The whole thing was beautiful. I loved it. It was really exciting. And I thought some of the stuff I loved it when Jesse started to get weak as well, because Jay got weak first. Like, he's old, he can't be in Flashtime for this long. And we see that Barry's going to go soon as well. Like, by the time we get to the end of the episode, he's ready to. He's got not much left in him.
We're saying, they're going so quickly. I think at least they established, okay, they can't stay here indefinitely. I mean, at least not compared to their comic counterparts.
I mean, it's still super overpowered, I think, even being able to do this at any time.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I love that Jay does that, and of course Jay at the end, he's like, oh yeah, I think I'm going to retire, I'm going to train the new Flash on my Earth, and like, there's a new Flash? Well, will be when I've trained her. Oh, her. Like, I was like, oh, who are we talking about? This is interesting. So we got a mystery new speedster.
There was a moment where I considered, is he kind of taking Jessie and training her up to a new level? But the reactions kind of undermine that.
The reactions weren't that at all. It wasn't Jessie at all, and especially since we've established that Jessie has her own team. She has her own team Flash on her Earth now.
She does, yeah.
Yeah. So no, he's training someone new. So that'll be a fun thing, I think, later on. Maybe in the finale or something, we'll see this new speedster.
Yeah, that or next season.
Maybe a Girl Impulse or something. I could see that.
Could be. Yeah, that would track well with it being Jay to raise them.
Yeah, that'd work well. Or even maybe the gender swap Bart, maybe, and do like a ladies version of Bart. That'd be fun. There's your daughter from the. Well, it depends who this mystery chick who. We'll talk about her. Yeah. We'll talk about her later. She could be gender swap Bart for all we know. That would track with our theories so far. But we'll get to her in a minute. So Jay does that, and obviously it's like, okay, that's cool. He's going to be a mentor now rather than an active speedster. I did really like, because obviously Jesse's having fights with her dad. He's Harry's not opening up about their mother and her death and whatnot. And I do like that when she's told to leave the city, with what speed you've got left, just get out of the city. Just get to safety, because your dad would want that. She instead goes and freezes in time with her dad. And I say freeze because they're not really frozen. They're just moving back at regular speed.
Yeah, to them this is just happening.
Yeah, but from our perspective, in Flashtime, they're frozen. So she just kind of like goes to Wells and then freezes next to him. It's like, oh, she wants to be with him in case she does die. That's kind of sweet. I like that. And then he uses the neural inhibitor, but now it's it does both things.
He's got another end to it so that you can read thoughts too.
Yeah. Which actually, as strange as this sounds, that makes a lot of sense to me, that if it can block one way, it can transmit the other.
Sure, yeah.
It's an extension of the same technology, so it just kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
But yeah, so it's this kind of sweet scene where you kind of hear some of the memories, and like she starts like smiling and crying because she's kind of hearing her mother. But maybe she was young when her mother died, so now she's hearing things that she doesn't remember properly, and she's hearing maybe time she wasn't around for, and it's kind of sweet, and it worked. I thought it worked. Ultimately, I think this episode works really well because it's a really big ticking time bomb action set piece with a really fun big gimmick of everyone is frozen and he has to stop a nuclear bomb that's already went off. And one of the things actually that I was concerned about early on is that I was like, well, why isn't the little like blue light blast at the center starting to expand slowly? Like I thought maybe we could see that, and it does eventually. You see it start to get bigger, but I thought it is a minor criticism, but I thought it was maybe just it's looked the same for too long.
And then it kind of leapt up, kind of like a big leap. It was after Killer Frost did a thing.
Yeah.
It kind of went, oh, it's bigger now.
Yeah, I think that could have been maybe a bit more visual before that. We could see it slightly expanding as it goes on. But hey, minor thing. But yeah, no, it's an action episode with a big gimmick where everyone's frozen and it's like one by one he can unfreeze them and get a bit of advice. And I love that he goes to unfreeze Joe.
I know, and then he doesn't. He's like, no, I can't do this to him.
Yeah, he can't let him panic. Yeah,
that's it. You can see him as like, I could really do with a Joe speech right now.
Yeah, but he doesn't want Joe to be worried for the time that he's awake.
Yeah, Joe's only got seconds in real time, and he's like, I can't put this on him.
Yeah, he's going to be worrying about Iris, he's going to be worrying about Barry, he's going to be worrying about everyone. He's Daddy Joe. He's worrying about everyone. This was a blast. I had so much fun with this.
This is the best episode in a long... Like I said, easily all season. This is probably better than most of last season. Maybe one or two episodes last season that were on par with it.
This is easily shot into top 5 of the show.
Yeah.
Easily. I mean, I don't know what other ones would be there off the top of my head, but this is easily shooting into that sort of realm.
No, I'm with you. This is fantastic.
This was a great, fun concept, and you can roll your eyes at the science, you really can, but if you just go with it, everything else is really
this
fun.
Is one of those, it brings in everyone. Like you said, we got Jesse back, we got Jay back.
Yeah, my only other scientific critique, again, minor one, and I'm sure people who with actual more science knowledge will pick it apart way more than I ever would, but at one point in Flashtime, Barry's actually writing on the board, and I thought, wait, if he's moving this fast, then would this not be like just smashing the board, or like with the pen causing friction?
He's being very gentle.
I don't know, I was thinking, would this just be writing normally like this, if he's actually moving that fast? I don't know.
Okay. Here you go, because I think we've seen him write on stuff in speed time before anyway.
Not this fast.
Maybe not, but... Here you go. He takes the board into Flashtime with him.
All right, I'll take it. If you can do it to people, he can do it to an object. And that's the other thing I loved as well, actually, is that before Jessie froze, she tried to do it with Harry. She tried to do it with her dad. She tried to bring him into Flashtime, and she couldn't do it. I love that one of the other species tried to do it. To see if they could.
No, I agree. And there was for half a second, when she's saying her stuff to Harry, and then, she goes around behind him, and you just, it's just his face being still. For half a second, I thought she'd actually, done it to him, and he was just staying still and letting her talk.
Oh, okay.
But no, she just couldn't do it, which is fine as well.
But no, I like that she tried. I really like that she
definitely.
tried. I think that works really well. So, full marks. And then Barry Iris moments were sweet. Them at the end when he's on the bed, he's like, "Hey, make sure he gets rest. He's not letting him move." And I was like, "Okay, I'm on Barry duty." And just the general sort of analysis of the relationship. Yeah, we work together, we live together, and it somehow feels like we don't ever spend any time together as a married couple. But that'd be the life of the Flash. In fact, we got another thing. We are the Flash, but we're also Barry and Iris. So we still have that We Are the Flash thing going, which does make me just remind everyone that next week's episode is called Run Irish Run, and there are set photos of her in her costume, so...
It's fine, I know the setup, so I'm not too angry.
I'm not angry, I just think it's funny.
It's bait, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Like they're like, oh, we saw the reaction, we're doing it.
But no, so no. Obviously, Ralph was missing. Oddly, they mentioned at one point saying he was moving in downstairs, so I thought, okay, we'll see him in a minute then. And then
downstairs where?
I guess he's moving into Star Labs for protection.
Sure, but it was really weird that. Okay, he's downstairs. You can go and ask for his help. I mean, I don't know what help he'd offer, but
can he stretch over the bomb and hold down?
Yeah,
probably not. But
probably not. No, I think nuclear stuff would just go through him.
Yeah, I would imagine so, but.
That's how your radioactive waves work. I get that.
Actually, just a little bit on DeVoe, just to sort of keep that ticking along. They mentioned this at the start, that they've actually been able to track every time he's went into his pocket universe, and they prove it's him because, okay, that was when he grabbed Barry, that's when he was in this alleyway, that was when he was at the prison, so on and so forth. And they're like, this has been on for a while, though. Like, how long? Like 3 years. Oh, shit, he's been setting this up for a long time.
You know, it's a real shame they don't have access to the pocket dimension yet. Otherwise, this episode would have been way easier.
It would have been, but they're working on it. Barry's trying
Yeah.
to sneak into the thing before it closes.
Yeah, they'll get there. They'll get there eventually.
Yeah, but no. So Flashtime. Aye. Full marks. Great episode of Flash.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Loved it. All right, let's move on. Actually, no. End scene with Mystery Girl.
Yes.
And interestingly, before she obviously she ran into Barry at the wedding. She ran into Ralph and Cisco at Jitters before, and now this time it was Caitlin and Harry. Also, I must mention as well, if Frost been like, "Don't let Caitlin die," that was an interesting statement from her. And that Caitlin can remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Maybe it shows that they're kind of merging, and soon she'll be able to just use the powers without turning into her. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so mystery, upbeat, chirpy girls there, and she spills stuff all over them, and she's like, lightning rod, ha ha ha, and blah blah blah. And
here's the thing: was it me? Did she call her Killer Frost?
no, our drink was Killer Frost. See, at the start of the scene, they're selling Killer Frost drinks, whatever that drink is.
Okay, that's fine then. Because I was really confused for a second. I was like, why didn't Caitlin pick up on that? Why did they just not notice?
No. Because she says that was my first Killer Frost and I spilt it. That was the line.
Right, okay. I clearly just misheard. I was like, what did she say? Because it she kind of comes out quick with it because she's nervous.
Nah, they've got the drink. Yeah. So interesting. So, I'm meeting someone here, and like Harry's just a dick to her, and they leave quickly. And Caitlin's like last line is like, "Oh, I hope your meeting goes well with whoever you're meeting." And she sort of, the smile goes away, and she's like, "It did."
And I was like, okay. Oh, the cheese.
It's pretty cheesy. I'm still kind of assuming descendant of some kind of Barry and Iris, but
yeah,
I mean, obviously it could be a number of folk. But hey, so we wanted to mention it. Make sure it was brought up.
Yeah, we could cover all bases.
So yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on to Black Lightning, season 1, episode 7. It's called Equinox: The Book of Fate, and this dealt with the fallout of the fact that and this has got powers too. And I've always say called it when I said that Lynn would be pro training Anissa to be a hero, and that Jefferson would be against it, because that's what happened. Not immediately. I mean, Lynn was still against it at first, but she was the one who kind of flipped. And
she's like, she's stubborn. She might as well just do it.
She's going to do it anyway. She's better off with you training her and teaching her how to do this. And probably my favourite scene of the episode was at the end when Jefferson comes out to talk to her, and he's basically admitting that he's going to help her and train her, but he's like, yeah, so this does this to me, and this is how it feels. And it's like, okay, because you almost get the feeling like, it's not like he's ever lied. It's like he's always been the true person to her, just outside of the Black Lightning secret, right? But I really like this is the first time he's just been completely honest with her, and like just talking about it. Because she also finds out at one point that that's why they split up, was that he was Black Lightning. Because she's like, wait, did you split up because he was Black Lightning? It's like, yeah, so... yeah, and I like that Jefferson came in and said, I'm a hypocrite. He opened with that. He's like, yeah, look, I'm a hypocrite because I don't want you doing this, and yeah, and I always teach you to do this, and don't think with your head first, and I never do that. I always let my emotions get the better of me, and someone died tonight, which, on that subject, Tobias' sister went down. And obviously it wasn't a direct hit from Black Lightning, but it was kind of like a
deflection of the bullet from his shield, right?
Yeah, I'll say collateral damage or domino effect, if you want to put a phrase on it. But because of his interference, because he went to attack Tobias, it started a big gunfight, and she ended up dying. And he goes over to her afterward and tries to like keep her alive, and potentially take her to the hospital, or whatever. Do you know what's funny actually? So throughout this episode, like Tobias has been convinced by his sister that he needs to take down Lady Eve. Like, because I kind of like that it's doing the flip of what some of the Netflix Marvel shows have done here, where it's like Tobias could almost be the halfway villain, and then it switches to the crime boss leader who runs all the crime in the city. Instead, it feels like no. Tobias is going to take over and like show how bad he is.
It kind of introduces Tobias first, and you go, okay, and then it brings up the bigger one, and you're like, okay, so that's the real villain.
And we get
and then it subverts that again.
Yeah, and then we also find out there's a network that Gamby's kind of been
the shadow something.
Yeah, and that even Tobias, if he just kills Lady Eve, he'll be killed for that from the network. Yeah. And it sounds like Gamby's went along with this to keep them in check. And because I was thinking about this as he was talking to Lady Eve in the scene, and I was thinking, so why does he want Black Lightning to like fight crime and stuff? And I guess it's because he doesn't necessarily like that they're doing this. He doesn't want them to know he's involved with Black Lightning. He wants to sort of do that outside of the agreement of the network.
Yeah.
So that he's not like implicated in it. But he actually goes and kills Max Landis in the club when he's like counting the money. He's like, it's him. You can tell it's him even with the scarf on his face. But
Yeah.
he comes in and kills him, and he leaves the little the little box, I guess, little chest,
Gold box.
a little gold chest that's got the ground up bones in it, which is a clear message from Lady Eve. But so it's funny because I'd kind of almost forgotten the line from Tobias earlier on, because when he's talking to his sisters about, oh, you can't just go and kill her because you'll be killed for that because you didn't get approval for it. You'll be acting out of the network sort of wishes. He's like, not necessarily. And when like this assassination attempt happens in Lady Eve, and we see guys come in, they've got big lightning guns, they've got big electricity guns.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Where'd they get these from?
And I'm like, man, they've got these type of guns. Is this just so that later on when they're fighting Black Lightning, it's like sort of mano a mano because they've both got lightning.
Yeah.
And I did like the little fake out where like she thinks she's won, and then there's like one left in the coffin coming up, and and it wasn't until Henderson calls him, he's like, hey, you went too far this time. And he's like, and obviously you're thinking, oh, they're talking about his sister that died with a gunshot. That's what you think he means. And then you see him looking down at Lady Eve with the burned face, and like, oh, that's why it's lightning guns, because they wanted to frame him. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty smart. He's smart. And I don't think it's impossible to guess that. I think if you remembered that line where it's, oh, you can't just be the one who killed her. So it's clear that he's framing someone else. If you remember that, I think it's easy to predict. But I'd forgotten that line, so it got me pretty well, and I was like, oh, okay.
No, me too. And I do like that. Just as a weapon against Black Lightning as well, because obviously we see in this when they shoot bullets, they can bounce back. I assume these like electricity guns, they'll just dissipate against his shield,
or charge him.
They could charge him, admittedly, but they're not going to splash back at them, are they?
Yeah, no, that's true. I like that, and obviously, and this I took center stage here. There wasn't a lot of Jennifer in this episode. I did like the one scene that we had with her though, where they're because they already know, and this is got powers. He's Black Lightning, but they're not telling Jennifer anything about this, and they're sitting there. She's like, "All right, what's up with you two? You've not told me once to do something instead of track, and you've not once complained that I'm wearing your favorite top without permission. What's going on?" What's going on? She just knows there's something up, and they bullshit her with something. But I like that. Although my favourite line to do with Jennifer, I mean that's the only scene I think she's in the episode. But my favourite line about Jennifer is and naturally the question, it's like, okay, so Anissa's got powers. I mean, we didn't know that you could pass on abilities. Like, but wait, does that mean Jennifer may have some? And Jefferson's just like, oh god, she's enough to deal with without powers. That really made me laugh.
I mean, it's like, oh no, not the teenager. Please, not the teenager.
Not her as well. So Lynn's wanted to do testing on everyone. She was hiding at Gamby's for a bit underneath. And I was almost disappointed that Anissa at some point didn't be like, wait, my because he calls him Uncle Gamby at one point, so obviously clearly it's like this sort of uncle figure to them. I'm like, did you not? I was kind of hoping for a scene where we got her like reaction to, wait, you're like building the suits and you've got a secret lair, you've got a secret door at the back of the shop.
This is old hat. She knows all this.
Yeah, she's in there.
She's been down here many a time.
And Lynn asked Gamby to build her a suit.
Yeah.
And I love that she's just excited about it. She's like, what? A suit? And he's like, yeah, even when you're not bulletproof because your energy's drained, you'll still be bulletproof, and it'll be fireproof, and it'll be this proof, and it'll be that proof. I'm like, okay, alright, Gamby, you're really enthusiastic, we get it.
He loves his work.
He does. And obviously Jefferson doesn't really trust him right now, kind of with good reason. Obviously, I mean, I've said he's ultimately going to be good, and I still believe that, but he's definitely in deeper and deeper every time we see more of this network plot.
He's definitely much more morally grey than we anticipated.
And I do, obviously, I mean, you could argue it's hypocritical, but I'm kind of seeing him like telling Jefferson not to kill because he knows what it does to him. He doesn't want him, he wants him, kind of like how Jefferson wants Anissa to be better, because there's the scene in the conversation in the bedroom, and she says, oh, I hope I can live up to what you are. And she's like, no, don't do that. Be better than me. You can be better. Yeah. And I kind of like the idea that Gamby's like that with Jefferson. It's like, no, yeah, I've crossed that line. I'm a soldier or whatever, and I've done this. I'm doing this so you don't have to. I want you to be better. I want you to be a symbol, and so on.
No, sure. I will say the more that he has all this stuff going on, the more it separates him from Alfred.
Oh, that's true. Absolutely. He's kind of like Alfred cross Wintergreen right now, I think.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, Wintergreen, of course, is Deathstroke's Alfred. If you don't know who that is,
it's almost Alfred with the SAS background, but gone rogue.
Yeah. That said, the more I'm seeing of this, the more I'm thinking he might not survive till season 2.
I can see it. I can see it. You can see him being the sacrifice to go down.
Yeah, Blaze of Glory at the end of the season, I could see it happening. Atoning for his sins. I think that's very possible. Also, Tobias is like having random cage fights because he likes cage fighting people.
Of course he does.
Because he's a villain. He's a proper villain. Interestingly, though, at the end, someone who we thought was dead wakes up.
Who was dead? Let's be clear about that.
Okay, someone who was dead. So we're definitely bringing in some other elements here. You know, whether it's science fiction or supernatural. But Lala wakes up in a hotel room, and we see the mother. Was it Letitia? Was the mother who died? But no. Lawanda. It was Lawanda.
Yeah.
She comes in and we see her and she says something like, you know, like the ghost of guilt, you know, it's something guilty.
Yeah,
like,
and talks about resurrection.
Right? And then she turns to dust and goes into his chest, and then there's a tattoo of her face on his chest. And I'm like, damn, he's like some sort of weird Reaper character now who's back from the dead. Like,
Yep.
I think what's interesting about this, because we were surprised when he was killed off so quick, because we thought he had a lot of presence in the show. I think bringing him back is interesting. I also think it's interesting that we're bringing in villains who have powers of some kind.
Yeah, this shakes up the rules because it's all been very grounded, street level.
Well, because I think what it does is it means that there's someone that Jefferson can't just take out easily. This is someone who's going to pose a threat to him.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fascinating stuff. Like, because this really changes the rules of the show.
And I you know, I don't know this character from comics or anything, so I have no idea what the range of his powers are, what he can do, anything like that. So.
It might even just be a case if he doesn't have powers other than he'll come back to life.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe he just resurrects.
Because I'm wondering if that's kind of maybe what's going on with Tobias. Because obviously he's lived a long time and looked exactly the same.
Which we should bring up because last time we did comment it was a bit silly that he looked the exact same age in the flashback. But to be fair, they bring that up in this episode and Jefferson says he's looked the same for 30 years. What's going on? So it's in plot, it's meant to be he looks the same age. That's kind of the point.
Which is something that I will criticize. We had the exact same flashback again this week.
It was cut down, but yeah, we saw the glimpse of it again.
Completely unnecessary.
That's fair. That's fair. It's a minor quibble, but yeah.
It is, but I was just like, why am I watching this again? I saw this last week. Like, if it had been like first episode or a while ago, and then they showed it us again to remind us, fine. But it was a week ago.
I just wanted to bring that up because I gave it some shit for that last week, and it's actually completely justifiable why it looks the same age because it's in plot. The characters themselves are questioning it. So
yeah, but I'm now wondering if it is the same thing, perhaps, or or an extension of that. Even it's related anyway.
When he thought Tobias was dead before, did he actually die and he came back? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see him take his top off at some point. He'll have a tattoo of bunch of faces.
Yeah, who the people he's killed or wronged or whatever.
All the people who have done whatever to do this magic.
Yeah, so that's interesting. That's interesting. So, so that's pretty cool. And obviously I'm liking in this. Wanting to. Obviously, she finds out the editor dude who gave her the box of stuff died in a hit and run, an accident. Sure.
Sure.
Very suspicious. But that sets up how dangerous this is, which I kind of like as well.
Yeah, but I like that she knows it wasn't an accident as well.
She does. Oh, obviously,
there's no pretense that it actually is.
And I just in general, I like that we didn't have episodes and episodes of like the parents being like, "Oh, you can't do this. You can't do this. No, this is dangerous." I like that by the end of the episode, they realise she's a grown-ass woman. If she's going to make the choice to do this, she's going to do it. The best choice we can make is to try and help her do it the best she can.
Which tracks with their whole, thing. We see how they are with Jennifer in particular. Oh,
I can't forget that dinner table scene with sex talk. Can't forget that.
This also tracks with the comics stuff of Black Lightning and where it's like, okay, no, not until after university. Not until you're an adult.
Yeah. And I also even like that he says to her like, okay, like I've made a lot of mistakes. You're going to make a lot of mistakes doing this, but we'll try and do something. But no, so I'm looking forward to seeing the suit, and obviously we'll get the fallout now that the public might be against him because they'll think he's burned a criminal alive. So, and I mean, even if the public knows she's a criminal, because on the TV it sounds like no, she's a respected member of this community. It doesn't sound like people know she's a criminal in public.
No, but I mean to say that Gambi is a respectable tailor, and obviously he's got shady stuff going on.
Oh sure, I'm just saying that I'm saying the majority of the public.
No, that's my point. They all. I don't think most of them. I mean, we know Tobias was a politician. I think all of this network are all respectable figures.
Oh yeah, they're all hidden behind the curtain. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that they might go against them even quicker because they don't know she's a villain. It's still wrong if it was him that did it. But like I'm saying, they can't even say, oh, but she was a criminal. So yeah.
No, I'm with you.
So hey, so that's cool. So that was a very solid black line. It kind of dealt with the stuff immediately of what was going on, but it didn't linger with plot points that I thought it would. It got through them in a believable, understandable manner that made sense for the characters.
Yes, absolutely.
And I like that. I like that a lot. Because I feel like they could have drug out some of this stuff, and I'm glad they didn't. Also, minor point from last week I wanted to mention, forgot. At one point on his desk at work, you see he's wearing a Superman t-shirt, Jefferson.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was interesting. So I was like, just to go back, is Superman and Supergirl pop culture in this world, or are they?
Yeah. Also, just on that point, I think it was in the same scene. He turns his computer monitor on. I'm like, who actually turns their computer monitor off? Like, who presses that button to turn it off every time they use it?
I don't know, my mind goes to sleep eventually.
Yeah, but usually most monitors, at least when you turn your computer on, it'll boot the monitor back up with it automatically.
It does usually,
unless you've manually turned it off, which is I don't know anyone who ever turns their monitor off.
Well, I do sometimes because my monitor's next to my bigger second monitor, which I use to watch stuff. So if I'm lying in bed watching something, I might turn it off because I want to just have.
Oh, okay, that's fair. But just as a general, this wasn't that. This is someone.
Oh, sure, yeah, he's at work.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really weird.
He's an old man. What do you want?
I know, but I just wanted to point out it struck me as really strange, and I forgot last week. So as we're back there, I'm bringing it up now.
He's a middle-aged man. He's not as hip with the technology as those young kids. What can you say? But hey, so no, really solid again. The show's been very consistent.
It has. I think it's maybe at point maybe it's like not quite as strong as some of the first episodes in overall where it's
dipped slightly once or twice, but I do mean slightly.
Yeah, nothing noticeable. Just that when you're looking for it, it's like okay.
And I think what's interesting as well, if this is the middle of the season, because I think it's 13 episodes from memory.
It is, yes.
But like, this is the middle of the season. I like that we do have this shift where Lady E's been taken out. Black Lightning might be seen as a villain to the public, and Tobias is sort of taken over his power, and now his sister's dead, so he's got more of a reason for a vendetta. Like, it's really ramped everything up for the second half of the season, so I think that's a good,
definitely, yeah.
good thing. All right, so we'll move on then to Arrow, season 6, episode 15. It's called Doppelgänger. And oh boy,
so where do you want to start?
Where do we start? Do we start with saying this episode made us laugh more than any other episode in the last 2 years?
I honestly think it's the most I've ever laughed at Arrow.
It might be, but this is the thing. This was really concentrated though. This was one moment.
Yeah, and it was not intentionally funny.
No, there was other moments that may have been chuckle-worthy, but there was one moment that we had to pause the episode because we were physically being too loud. We couldn't hear the rest of what was going on.
Oh, no. There was like, when somebody you'd laugh so much, that's it, you're gone.
Yeah.
Well past that point.
Yeah, so Roy was back this episode. The DA and like the prosecutor and all that, they've got their witness here, and it's Roy.
Because they can't use Renee now.
Yes.
For whatever the reason was.
Because he's connected, because he's got a record or something, so it makes him,
Maybe there was something along the chain where this evidence is unusable. I don't really care.
I can't remember, but the point was, but we've got another witness. So who's the witness? Roy Harper. Dun dun dun. In fact, actually, dun 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 dun. That was the logos.
Yeah, that's the cut to logo.
Yeah, that was a cut to logo. And Thea finds out, and she's like, Roy, where's he been held? In a hotel with guards? Let's go get him. I'm suiting up. Where's my suit, you bastard? And she's like, and what I thought was funny is it just reminded me of how last season she was also still done with being like a vigilante. But as soon as they mentioned aliens for the cross, I was like, aliens? I'm suiting up. So, there's aliens here. Same for Roy. So they go, and she's in costume, and she goes across to the building. She gets into the room with Roy.
She does the traditional zipline arrow across.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong there.
She kisses him, and because there was a joke earlier on where someone said, it's been 2 years since we've seen him. He could be married now, and like Thea looks really uncomfortable with that suggestion because she's still clearly in love with him. And she kisses him as soon as she sees him in the chair, and she's like, "Oh, sorry if you're seeing someone now, by the way, but
yeah.
I just had to." But anyway, so he's injured. He can only sort of half walk. and the guards are coming back, and there's a lot of them with guns, and like Ollie's across the street, and he's like, "No, Speedy, you got to move. You got to leave. You got to leave Roy, because both of you are going down. They will kill you. You cannot survive this." And she's like, "No, I'm taking her around." She's insisting, and they're about to bust through the door. She spins round. She's got her bow and arrow out, and she's like on her knees. She's ready to go, and then this arrow shoots into the room. The rope grapples around Thea and just pulls her out. And this happens quickly. It's like zoom, 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 out.
And then you don't see her go across the street. You don't see her. You stay in the room and you just see her go off frame.
It's a funny visual. It's a hilarious visual. But we've never established that Oliver can just pull someone out of a room across the street like that. And then on top of that, it makes one question. Well, Thea could still get out herself. Why not just do this to Roy?
Yeah.
Why not use your fancy new, grabbing arrow thing on him?
Do you know what, it's like I don't know, like a
lasso almost. It's like a lasso.
It's kind of like a lasso. I'm thinking that weapon, with the ball and chains where it wraps around the legs.
Oh yeah, it's like that, but it's connected to a rope to pull you back.
Yeah. It's like that where it's connected to the legs and it'll trip you up.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of that.
It pulls her out the window, and it is hilarious. We were laughing so hard. And it wasn't meant to be funny. There was nothing about this that was meant to be funny. No. But then, Dragon, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Diaz, yeah, the Dragon.
But we just know he's Dragon.
He's got him. He's beating him up. He's fighting people on a stage in an empty arena in front of a big
very fancily lit stage.
But yeah, big lit up stage so that when they're fighting, they're all in silhouette against this wall of light. It's the whole thing.
He's got style.
And he's building an army, and he's upset because the big part of this episode, beyond getting Roy back, is like, can we trust this other Laurel? Because that's the thing. I was so confused at the end of the last episode, so confused.
I still never saw it.
You couldn't remember it, so you didn't know what was going on.
I might as well didn't see it.
So, and I was like, wait, is she lying that she's Laurel? Is she actually got amnesia? What's going on? And almost immediately, it just turns out, no, she's just lying. She's pretending she's the Laurel from this earth and she's never died. So she's in the public eye and therefore harder to assassinate. And they reveal this so easily and quickly that there's no question of what's going on, that it just really cheapened the cliffhanger from last week. Because that cliffhanger last week was clearly meant to be like, what's happening here? What's going on with her? And instead, it's just the really obvious thing that's the easiest to explain. And it just kind of made last week's cliffhanger be kind of like, okay, whatever. Kind of cheap. But, so it's the whole thing where she basically, you think she's going to betray them because she goes to see Diaz and she's going to turn them in. It turns out, though, her intel's good. And she helps. And there's a whole confrontation at the end where she has this conversation with Ollie where he's like, you're not Laurel, you're not this, you're not our Laurel anyway, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, I'm not that good, but if you give me the space, I'll try to be. And he's like, fair enough. And honestly, as an idea for a plot, the idea of the villain version from Earth 2, like, try to redeem herself and maybe become a good person, is that's a good superhero show plot idea. I'm fine with it.
Don't trust Arrow to do it any justice, but it's a fine idea.
The best part is when Dinah finds out that Laurel Lance showed up. She's not really dead. And she's like, has anyone got the case? I want the case. Give me the case.
That's it. All the cops are corrupt again.
That's right. Of course we know the captain is, but they end up knowing, okay, they're all corrupt. So Dinah's basically having to work with Ollie again because they need to know who's corrupt. Yeah. And she's in the force, so she has to find out.
That's it. They go, right, Quentin, Dinah, look, I know you're not on the best of terms, but you believe in the badge.
That was the line.
I remember that. But this was a stupid episode for things like that.
There wasn't a whole lot of terrific in the episode either. We don't even see Rennie, I don't think. He's
still in hospital, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, actually, IMDb says he's credit only for Curtis as well, so maybe we don't. I remember seeing him in one scene, though, I think. Maybe I'm just pretending.
I can't be sure.
May have been in the previously on. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very possible. So by the end of the episode, Laurel's going to try and be good. She's going to try and work with the team. Thea might actually leave with Roy.
I think she is. I think that's why this was like a suit up is like, one last time before she goes.
Last time, yeah. Accomplish nothing before you go, but
obviously. Also, it means she can't spring any more bloodlusts on me.
That's right, she said a bloodlust in this episode.
Yep. Oh, I still have
do you know the sad part
just
is,
have half my drink to go.
You really notice just how little they've had for her to do in the last 2 years. Because she recounts all the big stuff that's happened in her
like
character.
3 things.
She's like Bloodlust, dying, coming back to life, Bloodlust, and
Bloodlust, Malcolm,
and Roy.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you've had like nothing. Like you've just been working at the mayor's office this season and last season, and that's it.
No, she's been in a coma for most of this.
And
season.
or coma. Like you've had nothing. It was the same when Laurel actually died. The original Laurel, they had nothing for her all season, and then they gave her one bit of focus in the episode where she was dying because she was going to die at the end, and that was it.
At least we can say Thea's getting 2 episodes.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean, she got this one, and then she's getting next one for sure, based on the ending, which I do remember.
Yeah. Remind me.
She's making up with Roy, in her apartment.
Oh yeah. Go on.
And it cuts across the street, and there's a League of Assassins member takes down a mask like, I've located the daughter of Ra's al Ghul.
It may be a few though. Maybe like a little arc, and then that'll be the goodbye arc. Yeah, it could be.
That's me. So I mean, at least she's getting 2 at the bare minimum.
Yeah. And the reason why we're assuming she's leaving is because, again, they've had nothing for her to do. They've had to just have reasons why. Because before the coma, like every week it was, Thea's off doing something somewhere else, and we don't see her.
Yeah. We laughed about it in Flash this week with Ralph.
But that was one time.
Once. Yeah. This was every episode. We were going it was 9 episodes in a row or something. Was the streak, I think.
I mean, if anything, it felt in Flash, it just kind of felt like we have to pay Jay and Jesse for an episode, so we'll give Ralph the week off.
Pretty much.
It was a budget
it's almost
thing.
Certainly why Joe had the week off last week as well.
Well, he's a regular, so I think he gets paid anyway.
Yeah, probably. I assume he gets paid slightly less though.
Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. But that could be the case. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's actually what I was thinking, because I'm assuming Ralph's a guest
Special
star.
guest, yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong though, but that's what it felt like. I mean, it also could have just been, we've got too many characters in this episode, so let's just give Ralph the week off because
42 minutes. There's not enough time to have a moment with everyone.
Exactly.
I mean, even sacrificing the moment for Joe, like not having him in Flashtime, but you'd have to have Ralph in Flashtime.
Yeah. So as far as Arrow goes, it made me laugh more than usual.
Yeah, I remember Anatoly being around every so often, and I'm enjoying. I still enjoy Anatoly.
Oh, it's just been Anatoly.
Yeah. I don't think he did. I can't remember anything particularly did, but just I like Anatoly. Have fun with him.
Yeah, it was with Arrow. Easily the weakest of the shows again, as always.
Yeah, but it made me laugh more than Legends. So what can I say?
Unintentionally.
Hey, the feeling's still there.
When Legends made me laugh, they wanted me to laugh.
They did. I'm just saying, I still got that relief of endorphins.
Because that's how you'd measure how good something is. You got the release of how to boil it down to just pure science. That's the equivalent of taking a video game and just reducing it down to a spreadsheet of data.
I know, I'm just saying, look, this made me feel good because it gave me a chemical release. Therefore, I enjoyed it more than every other episode this season.
Well, with that, shall we move on to our final thing?
I guess we should.
And I had a minor hiccup there. I hope I'm not taking them on like Connor is. Connor has chronic hiccups, if you don't know, by the way. That's why he hiccups every so often.
It's true. And every time someone meets me for the first time and then learns about that, the next time they get hiccups, they panic. Every time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm way past that. I've hiccuped a few times since I met you, but not... Yeah. But still.
But no. Like every time someone they'll get hiccups, like 3 weeks later, and they'll come up to me and go, "I had hiccups. I thought I was going to have them forever." Terrified.
So Young Justice season 1, episode 18. It's called Secrets, and this is the episode set at Halloween. So we got some costuming. Obviously, Miss Martian's got an advantage in that department. She can just whip up a costume, whether it be the evil, zombie bride. Or later on, Marvin the Martian.
Yes.
And was the kid that we're scaring called Marvin, or was he called Marvin?
He was.
He was Marvin, okay.
Marvin,
yeah, okay, so double points then for that.
Because I thought that was the reference already when he was the one going on about Martians. I was like, clever.
Yeah, and then she actually changes into Marvin. Obviously not in silhouette, but it was Marvin the Martian.
It was a big, huge Marvin the Martian. Yeah. You could see the helmet. It's fine.
Exactly, yeah. The helmet shape was there. So that's kind of the side plot, though, is that Connor... Miss Martian and Wally's still completely unaware of the relationship because he's still trying to hit Miss Martian. Go to a Halloween party, school Halloween party, a dance, and they're there, and yeah, there's this kid playing a prank that there's Martians invading, which leads to a couple of funny lines, and of course them scaring them with the Marvin the Martian,
Yeah.
thing.
Just on that, the other little cameo, I shall say, is there was a Shaggy from Scooby Doo in there.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. What I did notice though is there was obviously a lot of the kids were dressed as superheroes, which Connor was annoyed at. But there was one kid, he's like, "Oh, who are you?" "Oh, I'm Superman done right," and I was laughing because he was wearing the '90s Superboy outfit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny to me. But yeah, so that was like a side plot that was happening. There was one scene with Robin and Aqualad with Batman and
Going on about Red Tornado.
yeah, I was like, yeah, it was like three of the adult heroes.
Red Tornado, I want to say Black Canary?
Well, it was Canary, but there was a third one. There was a third one with Batman and Tornado.
Yeah.
And they're talking. Oh, it was Artemis. That's who it was. Artemis was there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, not Artemis. Sorry.
No,
Arsenal.
Artemis.
Arsenal. You know what I meant. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
Arsenal. Look, Archers beginning with A, right? We're in the
Too
ballpark.
many of the bastards.
Yeah. So, and they're basically talking about the possibility of a mole. Aqualad and Dick are like, nah, we don't think there is for these reasons. And Arsenal's kind of been like, but yeah, you only met Miss Martian like a few months ago, blah 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 blah. Like, one of you's evil. So we're still going with that. We're still ticking over. I like that they almost bring up the Artemis relations again, and Batman's like, hey, Dick, she's still allowed a secret identity, even if her relations.
Yeah, even if she might be a mole, until that's the case,
Yeah.
we're not going to drop her in it.
So that was a thing. So that was the side stuff. That was all fine. The main stuff is that Zatanna, who's back, which is cool, and Artemis, they were going to the party with the others, and they came dressed as a witch and a something else.
Vampire.
It was a vampire, yeah. And basically, when Zatanna points out that Connor and Miss Martian are a couple, it kind of upsets Artemis a little bit, and it's like, oh, did she have a crush? And we know that deep down she actually really wants Wally. And we know
Do you know
that
what
Wally.
I think it is? Because at this point, Wally is actually hitting on Miss Martian. She's like, hey, I'd like nice job inviting everyone else.
Yeah.
So I think she sees Wally doing that, and then she's like, that's what annoys her.
I can see it. The timing definitely plays right after she finds out, though. Like when
It does.
Zatanna confirms
But
it.
I think it doubles up nicely.
But so she's like, oh, okay, you don't want to go to the party. We can go and do some vigilante stuff. We can
The
have a
girls' night out, as they call it.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
was the phrase. Yeah. So they go out on their motorbikes, and we got introduced to a villain who I was not super familiar with. I did look up though. This guy Harm and then his sister Secret were actually created by Peter David in Young Justice. Because when I looked him up, it was Young Justice issue 4. I've not got around to reading it. I've got that first trade. I've not got around to reading it yet.
Me too. It's on the list. We're bound to do it at some point for the
monthly
Patreon.
Yeah, but so I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, we'll get to that because I thought, Harm himself, who gets the Beowulf sword, and he keeps talking in third person, and he keeps referring to the Zatanna and Artemis as it. He's like, oh, it speaks, it thinks it can beat me, it thinks this, and so on, and he's like beating the shit out of them basically. And they're kind of on the run, but they start seeing the ghostly girl, right? And I thought it was kind of obvious she was a ghost right away. It just the way she was kind of like silent and stuff. It just kind of all insane secret over and over again. But she leads them around the city, and they kind of because there's a couple of fun bits at the start where some robbers and muggers
just taking them out like Artemis going over the top.
They don't even get off the bike for half of them. They just kind of ride by and like, oh, arrow, right, off we go. But she eventually leads them to like his house, and he's like, "How did you know to come here? How did it know to find Hurt's place?" And it leads to like her bedroom, and then eventually her tombstone. And what's basically happened is to basically this sword's kind of like Thor's hammer, and you can't just most people can't pick it up. In order to wield it, you have to be pure. But as he points out early on, it doesn't have to be pure good; it could also be pure evil. And he's pure evil, and he actually killed his own sister because it was the one thing in his life that made him unpure in terms of evil. So it was like taking her.
He cared about her, so got to get rid of her.
So now he's pure evil, but now the ghost of his sister kind of comes up, and Secret is a hero of sorts. So I'm looking forward to actually reading more about her later on.
No, I've not read Young Justice. I'm not familiar with these. I thought her had a pretty interesting presence, though.
It was not bad. I think Secret was more interesting to me.
No, that's fair.
Just purely because the story of like how she came to be is kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just liked Hertz. I thought his speech was fun, and he was strong, obviously. It was a cool visual design.
I think I liked him in a schlocky way. I didn't necessarily like him as a deep villain. Like he was kind of cheesy and two-dimensional, but it was fun, cheesy and two-dimensional.
Oh, definitely.
So that was good. So that was kind of the main thing, and they kind of eventually, because she's there and she remains of him of Secret. He becomes unpure again. He can't use the sword, and that's how we get to him being beat. And that's basically the episode. That's the gist of it.
It is.
But as per usual, it was good fun. It might not be quite as amazing as the last couple that I really loved.
I think it's no, because I think the others have been like deeper and doing real strong character things or plot things, whereas this is on par with them, but it's just more fun. So it's inherently not quite on the same level in terms of how you look at it on a pedestal, but I think it's so much fun that it's just as enjoyable.
But no, very solid though. I can't really fault much of it. So that is Secrets. So we're getting updated. We got about 8 left.
All right, is it 24 or 26?
26. So we got about 8 left then for the rest of the season. But that does get us to the end of the show. And what we do at the end is we pick our favourite episode of the week. Not counting Young Justice, just out of the new shows that have aired. And I actually think, I mean, obviously I feel like there's probably one we lean to, but I think it's a tough week in the sense that if we are picking Flash, and we probably are picking Flash, am I guessing right that you're
I
Flash?
think there's no question that it's Flash.
Here's the thing. This is actually a really good week, because Flash isn't winning because the other two are any weaker than normal. Legends had a really good episode. Black Lightning had a really good episode. Flash was just good enough to eclipse them.
No, that's the thing. As much as I've gone, no question, Flash, easily, don't even have to think about it. The other two were still great episodes. This
was a good week, because normally there's at least one that's kind of, middling. And it's Flash, because often Flash will have fun character stuff, but the plot will be like, whatever.
Yeah. It'll typically either be Flash or sometimes that'll be Supergirl when that's on that slot. Legends had it that first week, it was back.
Yeah, but there's usually one that's kind of like that. And it was like, Black Lightning is just as good as it's been, up there with its best episode. And then Legends was maybe not as amazing as, say, the Time Loop episode, but it was not far behind. It was up in the top percentile of the season. Definitely. But Flash just came out and was like, maybe back to business as usual next week, but this was a great Flash episode. And I think it helps that there wasn't much to do with Devo in it. It was this one great idea, and I'm sure the Flash time will come into play in the finale. I'm sure they've set this up
of course.
For a reason. But
I think that's so worth knowing about the Flash is that this season and last season, the villain stuff's been better this season. Don't get me wrong. Last season it had some more problems.
Yeah, mostly better this season, even though it's fun.
I remember, last season had like one particularly good episode around this point of the season, maybe slightly later. And again, it was a break from the main plot. If I recall, it was this one focused idea, and I remember at the time going, "Oh no, that's a return to the Flash that I missed." And at the time, I hadn't really noticed how down I was on the show until that episode. And it's the same here. The Flash is at its best when it just does one episode and does something good.
Yeah, to a point, yeah. But no, this is up there with some of the best the show's ever done. So full points for Flash this week. But hey, so there you go. That is this week's TV from the Multiverse. So by all means, of course, check out Comics from the Multiverse, which we cover the newest DC comic books that come out every week. That goes up a day before this does typically. But so let us know what you thought of this week's episodes in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Get us on the Twitters at DC Comics Podcast if you want to get us on there. Otherwise, though, obviously, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Yeah, get us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you want to go over there. There's a link in the description. You can get some bonuses, some stuff early, so on and so forth. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching Cape TV shows. I'm trying to make that a thing. Cape TV shows. That's because people always say Cape books when they're talking about comic books, and they're trying to distinguish between the superheroes and then the non-stuff like Asian stuff.
It's capes and cowls.
Yeah, the Cape books. So I'm trying to make it a thing for TV. But hey, so that is us. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it, and always remember that sometimes we screw things up for the better.